You cannot change people, but you can choose who is around you. Human relationships are the cornerstone of our lives. They bring joy, meaning, and connection, but they can also be a source of frustration, disappointment, and pain. One of the most profound truths about relationships is that we cannot change other people. No matter how much we want someone to think, act, or behave differently, the power to change lies solely within them. However, while we may not have control over others, we do have control over ourselves, and that includes the power to choose who we allow into our lives. This essay explores the implications of this truth, examining the limits of influence, the importance of personal agency, and the transformative power of intentional relationships. The limits of trying to change others. The desire to change others often stems from a place of care or concern. We may want a loved one to adopt healthier habits, a friend to see things from our perspective, or a colleague to approach work differently. Yet, despite our best intentions, we quickly learn that people are not clay to be molded according to our will. Each individual is a complex tapestry of experiences, beliefs, and choices, and their ability to change, or not, is deeply personal. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre have emphasized individual freedom, arguing that every person is responsible for their own choices and actions. This freedom is both a gift and a burden. It means that while we can offer guidance, support, or encouragement, we cannot force someone to change. To attempt to do so is to overstep the boundaries of their autonomy and risk damaging the relationship. As the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. The illusion of control. The frustration of trying to change others often arises from a deeper desire for control. We may believe that if we could just get someone to act differently, our lives would be easier or happier. But this belief is rooted in an illusion. The truth is that we have very little control over the external world, including the thoughts and actions of others. The Stoic philosophers, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, taught that true peace comes from focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while letting go of what is not. When we try to change others, we often end up feeling powerless and resentful. We may blame them for our unhappiness or become consumed by the effort to fix them. But this approach rarely leads to positive outcomes. Instead, it creates tension and conflict, eroding the trust and connection that are essential to healthy relationships. The power of choice. If we cannot change others, what can we do? The answer lies in the power of choice. While we may not have control over others, we have control over ourselves, and that includes the ability to choose who we allow into our lives. This is a profound and empowering realization. It shifts the focus from what we cannot do to what we can do, from external control to internal agency. The people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our lives. They influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, often in ways we don't fully realize. As the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle observed, "We are what we repeatedly do." Similarly, we become like the people we repeatedly associate with. Their values, attitudes, and energy shape our own, for better or worse. By consciously choosing to surround ourselves with individuals who inspire, support, and uplift us, we create an environment that fosters growth, happiness, and well-being. The ethics of choosing your circle. Choosing who is around us is not just a practical decision, it is also an ethical one. It requires us to reflect on our values, priorities, and the kind of life we want to lead. It asks us to consider what we are willing to tolerate, and what we must reject in order to remain true to ourselves. This process of discernment can be challenging. It may involve difficult decisions, such as distancing ourselves from toxic relationships or letting go of people who no longer align with our path. But it is a necessary part of living an authentic and intentional life. At the same time, we must approach this process with compassion and humility. Just as we cannot change others, we must recognize that we, too, are imperfect and in need of grace. The goal is not to create a circle of flawless individuals, but to cultivate relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and growth. The transformative power of intentional relationships. When we stop trying to change others and instead focus on choosing who is around us, we open the door to transformative possibilities. We create space for relationships that are based on acceptance and authenticity, rather than control and manipulation. We surround ourselves with people who inspire us to be our best selves, who challenge us to grow, and who support us through life's ups and downs. In doing so, we also take responsibility for our own happiness and well-being. We recognize that while we cannot control others, we have the power to shape our own lives through the choices we make. This shift in perspective is liberating. It allows us to let go of the burden of trying to change others and instead focus on what truly matters: our own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. Addressing counterarguments. While the idea of choosing who is around us is empowering, it is not without its complexities. One common counterargument is the importance of supporting loved ones through their struggles. Life is full of challenges, and people often go through difficult periods where they may not be at their best. Abandoning someone during such times can feel like a betrayal, especially if they have been there for us in the past. Relationships are not always easy, and part of their value lies in the commitment to stand by each other through thick and thin. Another counterargument is the potential for isolation. If we become too selective about who we allow into our lives, we risk cutting ourselves off from diverse perspectives and experiences. Growth often comes from engaging with people who challenge us and push us out of our comfort zones. By limiting our circle to only those who align perfectly with our values, we may miss out on opportunities for learning and development. Balancing choice and commitment. These counterarguments highlight the need for balance. While it is important to choose relationships that are healthy and supportive, it is equally important to recognize the value of commitment and diversity. Supporting loved ones through their struggles can strengthen bonds and deepen trust, provided that the relationship is fundamentally respectful and reciprocal. Similarly, engaging with a diverse range of people can enrich our lives and broaden our horizons, as long as we maintain boundaries that protect our well-being. The key is to approach relationships with intentionality and discernment. We can choose to invest in relationships that are mutually beneficial and aligned with our values, while also being willing to navigate challenges and differences with compassion and understanding. This balanced approach allows us to honor both our own needs and the complexities of human relationships. Personal anecdote. Early in my career, I worked in a highly competitive environment where negativity and backstabbing were commonplace. I found myself constantly trying to change the toxic culture, advocating for collaboration and positivity. However, my efforts were met with resistance, and I began to feel disillusioned and burnt out. It was only when I decided to leave that environment and seek out a workplace aligned with my values that I found fulfillment and success. This experience reinforced the idea that while we cannot change others, we can choose the environments and relationships that support our growth and well-being. Conclusion. The truth that we cannot change others is both a limitation and a liberation. It reminds us of the boundaries of our influence and the futility of control, but it also empowers us to take responsibility for our own lives and the company we keep. By choosing who is around us, we shape the environment in which we live, creating a space that reflects our values and supports our aspirations. In doing so, we honor the autonomy of others while affirming our own agency, embracing the freedom to live a life that is truly our own. As the poet Maya Angelou once said, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time." By choosing wisely who we allow into our lives, we create the conditions for a life of meaning, connection, and joy.
Please tell me what you think and how you feel about this issue. Analyze it, brainstorm it, debate it, and if you like it, please share it. Thank you for watching. I truly and highly appreciate you, and God bless you.